In this runbook, we're creating IAM users at AWS. And in this, if you look in the parameters, in this case, the username is test video 1. So let's run through this run. Let's just run this runbook. You click up here and it says, okay, so we've created the user created, and then we create a login profile for that user, HTTP 200. This is saying that Doug, my connection, created it, and then it posted a message on Slack. But what if we try to run it again with the same parameters? Let's just do that. Let's start at the top and see what happens. In this case, you can see that there's some, it says skipping invocation since something is enabled and did not pass. So let's start at the beginning and see what's going on here. So again, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to create a user test video 1, and I did that a second ago. So you can actually see that I get an error code from AWS, and the error code says, hey, this already exists. We can't create a new user because that already happened. And so what happens here is there's an output called user info. So this data is sent into the user info, this output, and it should have a username. It should say test video 1. But since it failed, that doesn't work. And so then the next step says create the login profile. This gets skipped. So how does it get skipped? What happens here is that we have a start condition. And the start condition says if there's a user in the user info, run it. If there isn't a user in the user info, don't run it. Well, it doesn't make sense to run it if the first one failed. So this actually, skipped because it didn't run. This one runs, like it's saying, like Doug tried to do this and it failed. And then finally, Slack fails for the same reason. It says, it's looking for user in user info. There is no user in user info, so it doesn't run. And so by taking the output of this first action in the runbook, the output is user info, we can then have the other actions react based on the output of the previous steps. So whether you have a variable that comes out of this and you need to reuse it, or you want to skip steps. You can skip a step, like if this happened, skip step 1, or skip step 2 and go straight to step 3. Or if this happens, you can skip 2 and 3 and go to step 4. And you can sort of build that logic into your runbook based on the variables that are in the output, and then you can set a start condition to change the way that your runbooks work.